So I wanted to take a deeper dive into Google Search Console and how you could optimize its data, its API system, to be able to integrate different tools to reach your strategic marketing objectives. So as we all know, SEO in its best practice is to use Google Search Console, but that is not all to it. To be able to get a higher frequency of data, to get more insight and leverage your strategic marketing objectives, you could perform a Search Analytics API data export in Google Sheets, or now using ChatGPT to talk to your marketing data, to your search data. And essentially, we could narrow down the data on a monthly basis, prioritizing the queries that have high number of impressions on a monthly basis. So let's say 500 impressions or higher. The benchmark for a click-through rate could be a 2% click-through rate or more. This essentially could give us roughly around 60 queries monthly that a website that we manage at Szymaniak Digital is visible, or let's say appearing on the second page. So there's a good chance that we might be able to leverage and improve its position quite quickly. Another aspect of our approach could improve a third-party provider called Semrush or Ahrefs. So in the SEO space, there's different providers of third-party data, which we could use with our Google Search Console bulk API export. We could essentially integrate Google Search Console query data. So we're talking about monthly 60 queries that we want to optimize for the quick wins. We could, if it's an UK site targeting UK English market, scrape the data in Semrush and validate it using a UK focused content, UK focused queries, the keyword difficulty score, cost per click score, so to prioritize commercial based queries that other competitors are very likely to bid on. We could essentially leverage our SEO efforts for those queries. And then when we validate our first party data in Search Console with third party data in tool like Semrush, we would be able to narrow down to roughly around 15 queries that we could target and rank for within the next 3 months. Again, this is based on the prioritization matrix that Szymaniak Digital offers to its partners and clients. So we would essentially pick out queries with high impressions in Google Search Console, plus moderate search volume and moderate keyword difficulty. Such queries could pose top priority to be able to target within the next 2 months. Then we have queries that are high Google Search Console impressions, plus high monthly search volume, plus higher keyword difficulty. This could be a second priority, which may need off-page SEO efforts, whether that's web brand mentions, more backlinks, more essentially us going out and having a relationship with the media. Then we would have our third tier of queries, which would have lower Google Search Console impressions, but very high search volume and low keyword difficulty. So only if we see a growing trend in Google Search Console and we could back that data up with Google Keyword Planner using a historical month by month query extraction we will see the emerging queries that essentially we could target on a seasonality basis. So, essential rationale versus Google Search Console alone. With Google Search Console alone, we might be able to chase queries that essentially have high impression but low search volume historically basis. So it could be that the impressions is showing high, but we could essentially just see that the impressions are not for our target queries. We could also see that there's no intent alignment. So we're talking about commercial, navigational, transactional, commercial intent, any other sub intent that isn't just related to profit, isn't related to revenue. So we want to combine Google Search Console data with a third-party provider like Semrush to combine and essentially have a different framework to be able to leverage our insight based on data that is integrated with each other. Then what we usually do based on such analysis, when we have our 15 target queries that we essentially collected, extracted, cleaned and prioritized, we would then perform tasks like on-page optimization. When we perform on-page optimization at Szymanek Digital SEO Consulting, we would hit key elements of SEO like title tags to improve rankings and relevance, meta descriptions to improve click-through rates, to be able to have higher number of clicks for our target queries, and to essentially have a better hook for the users on Google. We would then expand existing content to provide a pillar strategy. So it involves different pages that are relevant to our target page and essentially strong our topical authority and provide more tailored insights for the users. In the Google algorithm documentation, we know that websites with higher authority and higher topical dominance is favored by Google and essentially by users. So if your site only talks about a subject that is so relevant, people will naturally stay longer on the site. And when they do, Google realizes that through its user data tracking. We could use different systems like regular expressions to discover this pillar content. So we call that long tail queries. These are queries that are essentially formed of a question. So we're talking about queries that are 5 or 6 word frequency long. So essentially queries that are natural in the way people type on Google. These queries are usually low search volume, but could potentially pose a good insight into how users actually behave on Google, and this would trigger most of the Google AI overview systems. Our next talk point is the concrete results. So for one client that we are essentially working with in an outdoor space, we was able to work on 3-month basis for those target queries. So essentially we're talking about 18 pages. So from April 2024 to June 2024, focusing on the initial set of 18 Google Search Console identified queries. In the start of the engagement on the 1st of April 2024, we combined organic sessions for those 18 pages. So there was 4,200 sessions per month. Average position for those queries was 17.5. Average click-through rate for these queries was 1.4%. After the optimization, in the July of 2024, we established that the average position in Google Search Console was from 17.5 to 7.8 across those 18 queries. The average click-through rate improved from 1.4% to 3.6%. Combined organic sessions to those pages was 7,800 sessions per month, and this was a 86 increase in organic search sessions. Conversions from those pages rose by 72% on a monthly basis, contributing to additional estimated revenue of 8,500 a month. So we was able to identify, based on our optimizations, the business will gain an additional 8.5 grand on a monthly basis. The investment and the return on its investment, our SEO team at Szymanek Digital, we was able to spend 120 hours over the 3 months. This included content analysis, backlink analysis, content update, any outreach activities, and technical audit, valuing that at an internal cost of 3,000 versus incremental analyzed revenue of 102,000 if the uplift sustains. So of course we're talking about post our 3-month investment, we'll be able to leverage to the business 102,000 pounds. So the return on investment was very favorable compared to prior quarters, where using Google Search Console alone was just not enough. Hence why our prioritization with our third-party providers. Essentially, to narrow it down, we wanted to have a better system as to how we operate. We wanted to talk and analyze our Google Search Console data with third-party providers and deep machine learning models. We utilized our internal in-house Python and C# knowledge to be able to create a model that prioritized the queries that the business truly cared about. A simple dashboard enabled the senior stakeholders and board members to see the impact of our approach. Our team completed a very interesting weekly stand-ups to be able to inform internally how we were performing and what we could do to leverage our current performance to be able to help our clients better, more efficiently and effectively. Based on our internal discussions, we came up with a bi-weekly content and off-page SEO strategy restructure when we leveraged, based on our set objectives, new approaches. We was able to essentially involve different team members in different aspects of the SEO strategy. So to summarize, based on the Google Search Console queries, we talk about 18 queries a month, implementing from 1st of April to 1st of July 2024. We was able to not only increase the revenue, increase share of search, we was always able to provide a better insight for the organization. So to just recap, we had identified 18 queries. 18 of these queries were positioning on average on 17.5th position, and we moved the needle to 7.8th position. The average click-through rate started from 1.4% and moved to an interesting 3.6%. Organic search sessions moved from 4,200 to 7,800, which is an 86% increase. Conversion. So our organic search traffic conversions improved by 72%, which essentially enabled the business to make an incremental monthly revenue by 8.5 thousand. So the essential SEO effort was 120 hours. Estimated annualized incremental revenue was 102,000, which essentially shows a clear positive return on your SEO investment. I hope this helps. Thanks.